Well, good evening, America, and welcome to It's Happening Out, the world's most popular live gay television show. And you know what that means. It's Wednesday at 8 p.m., June 17th, 2020. I'm your host and moderator, Al Ferguson, and welcome, America. We are going to have so much fun and an entertaining show tonight. So let's begin first with Happening Now, breaking news. We are very happy to introduce one of our guests tonight, one of our guest hosts is our new host at Gay Town Hall, Matthew Sackman. In Happening Now, breaking news, an exciting announcement. An amazing new digital television show has been announced today and coming for the LGBT community called Gay Town Hall. You participate in the LGBTQ debate. This show will focus on the big topics of the day that are of interest to the LGBT community. More than a dozen hosts, including celebrities, famous influencers, drag queens, writers, authors, a college professor who identifies as a communist, a White House access gay Trumpster, artist, all segments representing the L, the G, the B, the T, and the Q community, a famous porn star, a famous underwear model, a Miccosukee Native American, and more. The most diverse cast of hosts ever assembled. And the show will premiere at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday, July 2nd. And it's going to be alive. Best of all, America, world, you get to participate. The chat is moderated and interesting thread posts are moved right into the middle screen for hosts and guests to discuss. And best of all, America, you are allowed to log in and be on camera with the host to participate in the live discussion and debate. Nothing like this on a national level has ever existed in the LGBT community, and it's really very exciting. Over the next 2 weeks, all of these hosts will be introduced to you. And on Q News tonight, just moments ago, we announced the first host. We're keeping everyone secret, one at a time. Jack Thompson, the current Mr. International Leather, was announced as a host. Thompson made world headlines as the leather community's first trans person of color, IML. And tonight we introduce you to our guest host at It's Happening Out, Matthew Sackman, who will be the moderator of the show. Matthew, welcome to It's Happening Out, and we are excited to have you tonight.
Thanks so very much. I mean, this is an opportunity not only for diversity and change, but also ahead and just put everybody in the room to realize that, you know, we're might all different at the same, we can also think alike.
Yeah, well, we're very excited. Matthew's going to be with us through the whole show. Hopefully, the sound and the digital quality will be a little higher than we're looking at right now. But we are very excited as he's going to be the host of this amazing new town hall show. So welcome tonight, Matthew, and we're going to throw you right into the Shark Tank here. Look around that picture you're looking at right now. You're getting ready to get in the water and prepare. So it's a good test for you for July 2nd.
The glare of power herself, her head is sitting there with her eyes.
Exactly. All right, so good evening again, America. You are watching the world's most popular live gay TV show. So many of your stories next on It's Happening Out.
Here we're in that.
This week on It's Happening Out.
Lean into your vulnerability and redefine masculinity. Lead with heart. There's so many different ways.
Outrage last weekend with a series of controversial tweets about trans women. She's now written an essay on
6-3 Supreme Court decision that made it illegal to fire someone for being gay or transgender. The opinion was
Our new game, Saved by the Bell.
These two guys have come into these areas.
It's all happening out tonight. Join us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. special guest host, Misty Eyes. With your host, reality TV star, Chef Josie. Trans activist, Aaron Phoenix. DJ Diva, Power Infinity. And our moderator, Al Ferguson. It all starts right now, live on It's Happening Out.
We are live, America, and remember, anything in a live show can happen. I can't stop what these people are saying, so it's not edited. This is live. This is the world's most popular live gay television show, and we want to remind you, one of the best ways that we've been able to accomplish that is for you to like and share us. Like us on Facebook and share it, and we encourage you, please start a watch party right now. Let us show you how you do that. It's really easy. Watch
When
this.
viewing our live show in your app, please click share. After clicking share, your screen should change and you can then click watch party. On the next screen, you can write text to your viewing audience and then click start watch party. You've done it. Enjoy your party.
Well, it's
Viewing
as
our
simple
live
as
show in
that,
your
and
app,
we
please
hope
click
you join us. A little feedback there. I told you we were live, America. So let's have some fun tonight. Let's begin with, as we start the show off, now, of course, we've introduced you to our guest host tonight, Matthew Sackman, who is going to be the new moderator at Gay Town Hall. And of course, Misty Eyes that you saw in the opening, and Power Infinity, and Aaron Phoenix, and Chef Josie. So we welcome everybody to the show. Let's begin with our meme of the week. We always start with something fun, get it right out of the way of trying to set the tone of the show. Tonight's meme of the week, none of us have seen it, I haven't seen it, is called When the Flamboyant Kid Comes Out of the Closet. Can't wait to see this. Watch this.
So, you were in that video?
So you coming out the closet, right? You're gonna make an announcement. Okay, you say you gay. Okay, we waiting on the announcement. Is that the announcement? Because for us, it was like, are you coming out? Not yet. Every now and then. You ready? Oh, okay. Well, let us know when you come out, okay? Oh, you made an announcement? Oh, okay. Dang. Because it wasn't locked. We've been in this, though.
America, we want to make sure that you're very excited because you have finally met Mrs. Power Infinity in our meme of the week tonight, and that's exactly how it came. Power, you coming out? You coming out? What do y'all think of our meme of the week?
Oh, that was sweet. That was super sweet.
Sweet.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's exactly how I would drag, how I would drag a friend out. Bitch, you think we didn't know?
It was so cute. We wish every parent was like that.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you say that because I was sitting there thinking, I was 27 still and was in the closet, and I wish my mom would have,
That's what I was going to say. I wish more parents were that open and affirming and welcoming. Hey, baby, we got you.
Yeah.
You can stay in there if you want, but you can come out
too. I wish mine was. When I told her, she said she had heart palpitations.
Your mother did?
Yes. It was that you took from me. I thought it was my parents, and you went ahead and got off my Facebook there.
I'm still thinking about Power's heart palpitation.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's move on out of our meme of the week, and we are going to learn a little bit about each of our hosts because we're going to do a fun drinking game. Now, this is in my contract, by the way, of being a moderator at It's Happening Out. I demand the shots at the top of the show because it makes it go much faster for me in dealing with the sharks. So our fun drinking game is called, of course, I'd Swallow That. And I'm going to ask 4 questions, and we have shots here in front of us. and Aaron and Matthew, and I know this big. Wait, Power, what are you drinking? Is that blue?
It's Chablis.
Oh, wow.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
So we're all going to take.
That's the only name for wine she knows.
Exactly, that's right. Chablis. That's really sad, actually. It's really sad. All right, so I'm going to ask 4 questions. If you agree, America, we encourage you to play along with us. If you agree with the question, you take the shot. If you don't touch the shot. And Misty and Josie here on set here in Fort Lauderdale already have it in their hands, so I think they're
ready. We're ready. Okay.
Let's
get to it.
All right, so we know how the rules work, and let's start with question number 1. I'd swallow that. I have been to a restaurant since they started reopening. I've been to Josie's restaurant since they started reopening.
I can't afford Josie's restaurant.
Of course you can. You have an IHO discount.
Right? Somebody tell me, what was their experience like going to a restaurant?
The first time I went to a restaurant, it was actually very scary. And I've been at least once a week since we've opened. And the first time I was there, it was very scary and like, oh, what if, and I try to distance myself. But now I've been going to restaurants probably once a week, and I pick places that I see people with masks and I feel safer. I've been okay.
Yeah, my first restaurant was apartment 9F here in Wilton Manors, and they're doing it right over there. It made me feel very safe. They have the the touchless menus. They are all wearing masks. There's sanitizer stations at the door. I felt safe, very safe, and I've been back a few times. And then Rosie's, I went once the first day, and they, again, are just doing it right.
I went to Rosie's with you.
Yeah. And we had a little bite, and I was like, oh, God, okay. So I know exactly where I can go, for sure.
See, I have to tell America, it's fun to go out to eat with Josie, because she was in quarantine for 40 days, tested COVID positive twice, then antibodies test, and then negative. And same for me. I was asymptomatic and test antibodies and negative. So going into a restaurant with Josie, we walk in going, we're superheroes.
Yeah.
We're superheroes.
Where's the mosh pit?
Power, have you been into a restaurant?
No, I have not been into a
restaurant. Knew it.
As a matter of fact, the first time that I will be back to a restaurant will be at the end of the month, when I finally decided to take a gig, and I'll be spinning up here at a restaurant's tea dance. But even then, I'm just going to be spinning from the safety of my DJ booth. I will have feet surrounding me so that nobody can come in, and I will be spinning fabulously, but with a visor.
Oh, interesting. Well, you've got to make sure you take pictures of that.
Yeah. I want to see it.
Anybody else had a restaurant experience that they want to share? Or we're
actually, the first time I went out, I believe it was fowl. So.
Oh, that's right. We went to the pub. We sat back on the patio. I didn't even know they had a patio behind the pub. And all of the tables were very distanced. And I'd forgotten about that. That's right. Exactly.
Y'all went to the pub?
We went to the pub.
Yeah.
Oh, and nobody spit in your face?
All Girl.
Did you just read me? All right, let's move on to question number 2. I'd swallow that. Love, Victor premieres tonight. I haven't seen Love, Simon. You haven't?
Oh yeah, I haven't either.
You haven't? Oh my gosh.
One of those white
Here's the spoiler alert. It's the black boy.
I haven't seen Love, Simon. I do belong to a Tuesday night movie night group, and we have to vote. There's like 50 people in there, and we vote. And I kept wanting to see it, and it never won the vote, and I never saw it.
Oh, I'm shocked. It's so
It's on the list. I just have been very busy these days,
It's on my list.
It is.
It's been out for a long
I know,
time.
but trust, there's been other things that have gotten in the way. So,
But also
it's
my-
on the list. It's on the list.
My husband's straight, and he's not too keen
Oh
on
my
LGBTQ
gosh, this is going to
things.
be a real defeat for Love, Simon. Aaron, have you seen Love, Simon?
Sorry.
Pat, have you seen Love, Simon?
No, but I've seen The Color Purple.
Oh, see?
I've seen the
By
Color
the
Purple
way,
too.
in that movie, it was also the black guy. And Matthew, have you seen Love, Simon?
No.
I was so ashamed.
I think we need a movie night, a host movie night.
America, what you are, what
Al,
you're
you're hosting.
watching live is It's Happening Out's gay card is being withdrawn as you watch. Oh my gosh.
I'm branding.
I waited. Love Simon, love Pete, love John. I'm just waiting for somebody.
Child, please be quiet.
I'm glad they had enough views to make a Love Victor, and maybe I'll get to see that.
I'm not even going to go to the new show because there's no point in even talking about that. All right, it premieres tonight. You should watch it.
On Netflix?
All right, I'm not even going to say it because you don't.
I'd be able to watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
There are people all over America right now where there's a little tear going down their cheek, going, "Oh my gosh!" Oh.
Hey, if anyone wants to send it to me, I'll watch it.
Wait, you gotta get it for free or something. Oh my goodness, I gotta move on or I'm gonna have a heart attack. All right, question number 3. I'd swallow that. I plan on attending some of the events that were rescheduled because of COVID-19.
Down.
Winter party,
I'm thirsty tonight.
gay days.
Stonewall was rescheduled for December 6th. That's when I'll definitely be at.
Stonewall the parade.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Girls in Wonderland.
Do you think, I'm curious, I didn't know that in terms of the date, and let's not use anyone's particular event so we don't create any situation,
Yeah, right.
conversation. But an event in October, November, early December, do we think in general events are going to happen the way that we think right now?
No, so listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I plan on going to the rescheduled event. When that will be is the question. I know that things were rescheduled, but that's not certain. We're starting to see a second spike, and cities are starting to reclose. I'm not certain that we're going to be going to any events anytime soon, but I do plan on supporting you when we finally can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Howard, I'm curious.
And can I just say, shameless plug, even though Al said that we shouldn't talk about any specific events, but I can talk about my events.
Yes.
So I will definitely be going to my events that will be rescheduled, which is Queen of the Night and my new party, Fab as Fuck. Check it out.
That's the name of your. I'm curious. When is? Have you done a Queen of the Night event yet?
No, Queen of the Night, we always celebrate our anniversary in July. I don't know yet if I'm going to throw it in July, if we'll be ready to do it in July, but I really intend on not missing an anniversary. So I intend on doing it sometime this year. I just really want to be safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And Power, what I was coming to you about is, of course, America, you may not know because it's a Florida thing, but Power is very actively involved in Tampa Pride, and especially the entertainment functions of Tampa Pride. Tampa Pride was the last Saturday in March, and of course was wisely postponed, and then I understood that they postponed it again. Any word in terms of what Tampa is thinking about they're going to do?
Well, from what I understand, we had postponed it until toward the end of the year, and now it looks like it will not take place until next year, 2021, in March.
Yeah. So the last Saturday in March of 21. Yeah.
I'm nervous about Halloween events.
Yeah, Halloween. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine us losing
Easter was
Halloween?
canceled and now Halloween.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's move on to question number 4. I'd swallow that. I'm thankful people can't hug me anymore. I'm looking at you closely, Aaron. Closely.
I knew you would be. I knew you would be.
You're not taking
No,
that shot?
It. I do.
You missed the hugs?
No, I'm not taking that shot. I'm a hugger. I really am. Contrary to popular belief, I'm not a cactus. I enjoy human contact. Just
You're not
I'm selective about it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I know I get
that.
Aaron
I
hugs.
really do.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, they're the best kind.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever hugged Aaron.
I was going to say, I'm trying to remember if I have. I think I have, actually. And Power, you...
I've awkwardly hugged you at least once.
I had jokes there. I had jokes.
LGBTQ community is scared when it comes to hugging Al.
As they should be.
I didn't take the shot. I didn't take the shot because not because I miss being hugged. I'm just indifferent. I can take it or leave it. So
you're just a cold bitch. Is what you just
You
told
do
us.
get very take it or leave it kind of hugs sometimes. I could see it.
Yeah. Did anybody take the shot?
I think Matthew did.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took it for the reasons family, their safety, and that's pretty much really it. Otherwise, if it wasn't that reason, yeah, I do miss hugging.
You know, it's very funny to me. I used to be a germaphobe. I had a very serious germ issue. And I got better and better and better. And this has kind of brought it back. And I really hate it when somebody tries to hug me or shake my hand. And it might be irrational, but I really don't think it's so irrational. Of course, I have antibodies, so I'm not worried about spreading COVID or getting COVID. And no matter what, I went to the gym today. By the way, I did 5 miles today.
Good job.
So I am religious in sanitizing my hands, washing my hands, etc., and so on. But even then, if I shook somebody's hand, I would use sanitizer instantaneously. It's just the environment that I'm living in, and I would really right now prefer not to be touched unless I want to touch you.
My primary love language is touch, and I really miss hugs.
You miss it
a lot.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's our game. I'd swallow that. Let's move into some celebrity news. We have celebrity hot topics in the news this week. And, of course, the first one has created a rage all over this planet. JK Rowling has waged war this last week on the trans community. But even as some have suggested, her 4,000-word trans manifesto. But interestingly enough, the Sun newspaper in the United Kingdom came out with a scathing summary on her, and trans activists came to support her and defended her. What do y'all think? Oh, wait, before we do that, let's watch something that we prepared on it. Watch this.
A woman who is likely the world's best-known children's author is defending herself against growing accusations of transphobia. This is JK Rowling, the creator of Harry Potter, of course, who sparked outrage last weekend with a series of controversial tweets about trans women. She's now written an essay on her blog addressing the accusations and saying her opinions stem from her own experience with domestic violence. That's why she's been pushed to advocate for women's rights, she says.
Well, the Harry Potter billionaire recently released the manifesto that I was talking about, 4,000 words, arguing against transgender or trans individuals. One of the reasons she quotes as a cause of her feelings is having been a battered woman. The UK newspaper The Sun ran a headline quoting her ex-husband about beating her, and British trans groups are calling out the low blow that he did, even if it was done to support them. What do y'all think about what we're watching with JK Rowling and this whole issue of transphobia?
The LGBT community.
Domestic violence. Go ahead, Josie.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you go.
You
go.
Go ahead.
All right, fine. Making light of domestic violence is not acceptable, no matter what the reasoning is. And that's really all it comes down to, plain and simple. We're not going to be misogynistic and throw women under the bus as a whole just because we're trying to get back at this one bully.
Yeah, and along that point is truly that the LGBTQ community, listen, the cream rises to the top, you know what I mean? And we're going to set precedent. We have to take the high road. We have to show that, you know, just because you discriminate against me, just because you have your opinion, just because we don't see eye to eye, doesn't mean that we're going to leave you out to dry.
Yeah, I agree.
Does anybody find it ironic that she, in her manifesto, said that the reason that she took her position was because she was advocating for women's rights, implying that trans women aren't women, but in fact, it was women who came to her defense.
Yes,
because trans women are women.
It is the. I agree with the.
There was somebody who had tweeted trans men menstruating and also trans women don't, and it was just you actually like did not have an understanding behind what was actually.
To that argument, there are many cis women who do not menstruate. Many, for medical reasons, for XXY. 1 in 500 people are born with Klinefelter syndrome. They don't menstruate either. If you have an eating disorder, there's all kinds of reasons to not menstruate. So you're going to say, oh, you're not a woman because you don't get your monthly friend?
Hey, trust, I'd give that up in a heartbeat.
Right.
Whoever wants it.
One of the things that's interesting that there's been a lot of discussion about is JK Rowling has been quite a friend to the LGBT community, very much so. The divisiveness, exactly.
Right.
Now it's the point that I was going to make. Is once again, it's the question of whether the T is part of the LGBTQ community, and she is basically thrown down to the fact of even making the comment. If it was a number of years later, at this same point,
30 years in the future.
would she? 30 years in the future, would she be trans? And the discrimination is at an organic level for her.
Yeah, and I think it's important to note. I think it's important to note we can't collapse domains here. You know, this one issue is one issue, and her, you know, domestic abuse is one issue. We can address both of those issues separately from each other. The fact that you know this trans group is supporting her through the domestic abuse, that's one thing, but it still doesn't mean that we stand in alliance with you on your comments towards the trans community.
She was centering. She was trying to make one issue about her by saying, I can relate because of this other thing that actually has nothing to do with this thing over here. I do applaud the British, I think it was called the Mermaids group, that said, hey, look, that's a low blow. But we often, especially in beauty pageantry and shows, sometimes when somebody did us wrong, our posse or our friends will come to our defense. Even if we don't want it, they will come. And so, yes, the Sun wrote a scathing report about her domestic violence. However, I do agree, when they go low, like Michelle Obama said, we go high. And trans people have always come to advocate, starting back with Sylvia Rivera and Marsha P. Johnson.
You know, one final thought, and I want to move on to a second celebrity topic for this week, but one final thought. JK Rowling has given $1 billion away. That doesn't justify any kinds of phobic reaction to the trans community, but she has been a great ally to the LGBTQ community. Now this asterisk on T. But with all of the gay friends that she has, all of the gay friends that have been associated with the Harry Potter franchise, actors, people in the industry, etc., my goodness, she needs to buy a friend. And she needs to have a gay boy be sitting next to her going, girl, you can't be doing this.
Give her an elbow, you know?
A
trans friend.
Well, baby steps. Baby steps. All right. Let's move into
It's disappointing because that was a hero for a lot of people.
Yes.
Those stories kind of saved my life as an abused kid. So it was disappointing to see. But you know what? I think there's a point where sometimes art outgrows its creator, and we have to reclaim heroes for ourselves.
Yeah,
So.
very good point. Let's move on to a second celebrity topic we want to talk about. We call it Storm Brings the Thunder. Beyonce. We haven't talked about Beyonce in a while.
Hey.
It is rumored to be playing the mutant. Right. Beyonce is rumored to be playing the mutant Storm in Black Panther 2 and speaks out about LGBTQ youth. Watch this. Interesting.
There's so many different ways to be brilliant. I believe you and every human being is born with a masterful gift. Don't make the world make you feel that you have to look a certain way to be brilliant. And no, you don't have to speak a certain way to be brilliant. But you do have to spread your gift around the planet in a way that is authentically you. To all those who feel different, if you're a part of a group that's called other, a group that does not get the chance to be center stage, build your own stage and make them see you. Your queerness is beautiful. Your blackness is beautiful. Your compassion, your understanding, your fight for people who may be different from you is beautiful. I hope you continue to go into the world and show them that you will never stop being yourself, that it's your time now. Make them see you.
Well, as celebrities move into a digital age where they can speak directly to their fans anytime they want to, Beyonce calls for recent grads to embrace their differences. Some people would prefer to blend in. And to her point, is it valuable for you to stand out? And she challenges everyone that they should. What do y'all think about what Beyonce has said here?
I think, let me just come in. I think that it's very, hold on, Tal. I think it's very, I think it's very important for Beyonce's voice to be heard.
Matthew, hold on just one sec. Because of your delay, we're hearing a little delay from you. So hold on. Power is right now. Go ahead, Power.
Okay. So I think it's very important for Beyonce's voice to be heard, and I'm going to tell you why, especially on the issue of queer individuals, because she is a Black woman. And a lot of her fan base is Black. And as a Black woman speaking from the Black community, it is really powerful to hear this from somebody that the Black community looks up and idolizes, because we in the Black community, and I'll say it again and time again, still have a problem with homosexuals, with gays, with trans, with our LGBT community. The Black community is one of the most homophobic and transphobic. And that's something that we need to deal with. So when you see people like Dwayne Wade, Beyonce, Gabrielle Union, and other, Obama, other Black leaders that are sticking up for our LGBT community, it helps to forge the road of progress to a community that really needs that education.
Power, before anybody else comments specifically on Beyonce's challenge, I want to put you in a context to what you just pointed out. You frequently, and of course I agree with you because we've talked about this so much in terms of especially Black churches have created the image. You grew up in the Black church. If you were capable for a moment of disassociating yourself and your philosophy through your life of being gay, and you were a straight man in your family and friend circle and always been straight, do you think that you would think the same way as the observation that you've made about the Black community, that you would have rejection?
What a wonderful question. I have asked myself that time and time again. And there's something called the concept of sliding doors. I would like to think that I would still be as liberal and progressive minded as I am now, but I don't know, because I really grew up very conservative. I grew up in the church. I'm Black, I'm West Indian, which in our culture is even
Caribbean.
More homophobic.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I'm from the island of Trinidad and Tobago. So had I not walked my journey and experienced what I have experienced, I don't know. I might have been one of those Black people that really look at homosexuality as a sin and as an abomination, I might have been a totally different person. So y'all better thank God that I came out gay.
Well, you know what's interesting about that, and we'll come back to Beyonce, but what's interesting about that observation that you just made, both the first observation about the Black community's reaction to the gay and trans community, the LGBT community broadly, and what you just said, is that in many respects, you're very lucky because you were forced to rethink your education. Many in the Black African American community are not. They go to church. They are not challenged to rethink the educational process that they have. So in many respects, you have been one of the lucky ones because it created a whole new thinking standard for you. Yeah. Okay. Other observations about Beyonce?
I think Beyonce would be brilliant. I think she'd be amazing. However, if they can't afford Beyonce or if she's unavailable, I would love to see Electra Darling from Pose. She would be a sickening storm as well.
Yeah.
I'm still with Angela Bassett. I'm sorry, Angela Bassett would be the perfect
child. Angela Bassett is my age.
How is she going to do those flips and kicks?
Okay, I am a huge comic book fan, so I know the history of Storm. Storm is actually a queen from Africa who helped keep her people safe and by watering crops, bringing nourishment and everything. She's an old queen. That's and so they really need to show that and not be that's in a younger. Because,
well, we're fantasizing. I want her to get that.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Apparently, America, and of course, Matthew is continuing to he's having an internet issue, and we told you, we're live, so we're dealing with it. But in the little bit of disconnection of his internet connection, he's confusing Storm and the Voodoo Queen from American Horror Story. She was great in one, wouldn't be so good in the other. Any other thoughts about Beyonce?
I'm just going to say that hair, grr.
All right, let's.
I would listen to Beyonce read me the dictionary. She's
yeah, whatever.
I'm curious of a real quick poll. A real quick flash poll. Did y'all think in that video that she just did that she was stunningly beautiful?
Beautiful.
The house down.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sexy.
Gay man.
Whoa.
Just stunningly beautiful. Yeah, no question about it. Let's move out of our celebrity.
She's too good for you, Al.
Yeah, don't get me started on her husband. All right, let's move on. First off, we want to remind you, when things come back to normal here in South Florida, we want you to come to Wilton Manors in Fort Lauderdale, the gayest place on planet Earth. And our partner here is Best Western at I-95, very, very close to Wilton Drive here in Fort Lauderdale. And we are also broadcasting from our permanent set here in the middle of the World AIDS Museum and Education Center. This is a fundamentally important museum. We encourage you to financially support them. This is kind of hallowed ground for the LGBT community. And finally, we'd like to thank Concepto Modern Living for the creation of this set here in the World AIDS Museum. Our next segment that we want to talk about tonight comes from our production team, and they pay attention to many, many things, often geek-like. And that is an interesting segment that we call the best thing of the week. And they get to participate in suggesting what was the best thing that they saw this week. I do not know what it is. Our hosts do not know. So we're going to reach out and see what our production team thinks is the best thing of the week. And it is called, Are Young People Still Doing It? I don't even know what the it means. Let's watch this.
Michael.
Hi, Nathan.
What are you doing here?
I was just reminiscing. I used to have sex in the bathrooms here.
Wow.
This particular club has a lot of toilet stalls in the bathroom, so you...
Savage. Classy, bougie.
This is my boyfriend, Luke. Luke, Michael, Luke.
Hi, I'm gonna stand over here. I have a pre-existing condition.
Oh, I love that song you were singing.
Yeah, Megan Thee Stallion is the best.
I love the stallion. So is this a new thing?
Yeah, like 4 months.
You're so lucky to be dating.
Yeah, I know.
Because you've got someone to go to Pound Town with during this quarantine, baby. I'm so jealous.
Oh, well, there's a lot more to a relationship than just
There is?
Yeah, we're not just having sex out of boredom.
You're not?
No. We actually haven't slept together yet.
What?
Just not a priority for us.
I'm not understanding the words that are being said.
Maybe it's a generational thing.
The fuck?
Yeah, I mean, no offense. Younger generations just think differently about sex than your other generations.
Oh, you Gen Z twerps think you're all that, huh? You think your conversations are that lit so you don't have to be going to Pound Town?
I don't think we put as much stock into it. Nothing about sex is taboo at this point.
Leather, whips, chains, puppy play.
Groundbreaking.
Waiting till you trust and really like someone, now that's
groundbreaking.
I blew the DJ here once in 08.
Nice.
The theme of the night was
Next question.
As much as I want to be a bitch, I kind of get some of what you're saying.
Yeah, sex shouldn't be the cornerstone of your life.
Well, for you two it isn't, and maybe for your generation it isn't. But for a lot of people it is, because it was taboo and it was groundbreaking. And it is the way a lot of people express parts of themselves, and that's okay.
When was the last time you had sex?
Months and months and months.
Involuntary celibate.
No, that's you two.
We literally just said that we are voluntarily not having sex with each other.
Okay, well, maybe right now I'm an incel, but under normal circumstances, I am blowing DJs, barbacks, shift leads at CVS. Okay. Anyway, thanks, guys, on the intel on why I haven't gotten with a Gen Z yet.
Well, that, or they just don't want to have sex with you.
Because they don't think you're funny.
Or attractive.
Let me guess, Luke. Your pre-existing condition is that you're a bitch.
I have asthma, you
Let's go.
Yeah, why don't you go stick your noses in your phones, okay? Maybe that's why you're not butt.
Okay, boomer.
Bye, Michael.
I'm young.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Did that Gen Zer just say bye, boomer?
Bye, boomer.
I'm not even old.
Well, what did y'all think of that terrible video?
I thought it was fabulous.
I thought it was
I'm gonna get the link later and I'm gonna share it all over my Facebook page.
Yeah.
Actually, my curious question is for Al, what did you think about that?
Yeah. My
Al
mouth
doesn't answer
open.
questions like that.
Yeah, exactly. No. Oh, by the way, on Q News tonight, just a little FYI, a new study reports that 1 out of 4 gay men have had casual sex at least once in the last 3 months of COVID, and 1 out of 8 have had at least 5 different casual sexual partners in COVID, where they've just met and they've hooked up.
I'm just a girl who can't say no.
Exactly. And so there was a lot of truth in that video. Let's move on to our segment where we learn more about our host. And we're going to do this segment called What's on Your Mind. Each host is going to tell us in 30 seconds what is important to them this week. Every Wednesday we do this, and it's kind of a catch-up. You take another big swig of the wine, Power, and you are going to catch us up on what you think is important to you this week. So it's called What's on Your Mind. And Matthew, let's start with you.
On my mind, how this street or I go is going to go ahead and pull itself up, especially these businesses are real and awareness, and how they're going to go ahead and for the infection rate easily.
Okay, I'm sure that was really worthwhile. I loved every second of that. And let's go to Aaron. Aaron, Phoenix, what's on your mind this week?
What's on my mind this week has to do with kind of just the general kind of feelings we've all been having with all the craziness, if you will, going on in the world. It's easy to lose hope. But try to I want us all, and this is a note to self really, to remember that jadedness is not a virtue. Stay outraged, stay angry, stay impassioned, but don't ever let anything make you lose hope. That's why we keep fighting.
Excellent. And Power, what's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind, I hope you allow maybe a little bit more than 30 seconds, because I have to actually ask a question to our two trans hosts, Aaron and Misty Eyes.
I'm not trans.
You just outed us.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
There is a wonderful performer up here in Central Florida that just came out. She is trans, and she said that she announced that she is battling cancer. Somebody asked me, and I would like to ask our two hosts. Somebody said that because of that, a lot of trans women face this issue of cancer, battling cancer, because of the chemicals and because of the stuff that they have to put into their bodies. I never knew this. I would like to ask Aaron and Misty, is this true? Is this a thing?
I'm going to have to let Misty take that one because I honestly don't know.
Sure, I always try to let the people remotely go first, so I was just being patient. Yes, that is a real thing, and also it has to do with your hormone levels. So if you so we live in a microwave. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to be very, very quick. Okay, we live in a microwave society. We want to put the burrito in the microwave and ding, 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 done in 3 minutes, and it doesn't work that way. So a lot of people overdose with their hormones, their estrogen. They think if they take it quickly, it's going to work faster. And instead, it does produce cancerous cells if you take too much. Also, if you've been on it for a long, long, long time, like years, and go off of it, that can produce cancer cells as well. So yes, it is a real thing.
Power, is it possible for you to say the name? Or is that private?
That might be HIPAA.
I believe that since the name of the individual, I believe since she put it out, then it's fine for me to say it. It's a wonderful legend up here in Central Florida. Aaron knows her well, Stephanie Stewart.
Yeah, I know her too.
Okay, well, that's terrible news. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
That's why it's very important. News clip. That's why it's very important, children, do not self-medicate. Do not buy black market hormones. Do not self-medicate. You have to get your testosterone, estrogen levels regulated by a doctor, and that's one of the very big reasons why.
Power, thanks for bringing... Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm going to say I don't believe that was the case here, only because I do know this person very well. But that is an important message nonetheless. And I know that when it comes to testosterone for trans men, same thing. If you take too much, or if it can cause issues down the line if you're not careful and getting checked out. So.
All right, very good.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Power, for bringing that up, because I hadn't heard that before either. And Chef Josie, what's on your mind this week?
This week is a rough week. We go back to the conversation around mental health and the pain that people are going through and living through in this moment. I have a friend whose daughter right now attempted suicide and is hanging on to her life. I have my brother who was jumped by a few men leaving a bar last night and left for dead on the street. There's a lot of pain in the world, and it's coming out in these violent, self-inflicted and outwardly violent ways. On my mind is just a prayer for peace, a prayer for healing, a prayer for empathy, a prayer for just solution, and for us to be patient with each other and really be patient with ourselves.
I think the sentiment is beautiful. It's a very difficult time when right from the Oval Office is countered everything that you just asked for, and it's having an effect on everyone. But thank you for that sentiment. And what's on your mind this week, Misty?
Yeah, actually, the same topic again. We all tend to be on our cycles are synced, I think. Just this week, today on Q News Tonight, we reported LGBTQ viral activist took her life in Canada. And this week I was talking with one of my clients who is struggling with the same issues. And in this conversation, I said the quote, "The same water that boils an egg softens a potato." And in these tough times, the world is going around us in a shit show, period, point blank. Like, the world around us, are you going to be the potato or are you going to be the egg? Are you going to toughen up and learn and survive, or are you going to crumble? And obviously our conversation was much more passionate and empathetic than that, but I showed them that picture. I just shared it on my Facebook last week, and they're like, "I've never seen this before." And so self-care, the most important thing is you are not alone. No matter what you're going through, you're not the only person in the world that's been through that. Reach out and get help.
You know, that provides a perfect transition as we move out of what's on your mind, thank you, all of you, to what we wanted to principally talk about tonight is our hot topic. And it has to do with the LGBT community and sex. Surprise, surprise. This week, the New York City Health Department has come out recommending the use of, are you ready? Glory holes. And they've recommended the use of glory holes for safe sex because of COVID-19 isolation and isolation protocols. At the start of the HIV pandemic, people used the motto, "Leather sex is safe sex." And it gets us thinking in terms of what's going to be next. We talked about events at the end of the year and the question of whether they're going to operate. We're probably in this mentality for a while. So as a result, what do you think is going to be next for the LGBT community in terms of sexual experience, whether it be ongoing, casual, or anything in between? What do y'all think?
In terms of sex?
Yes.
I mean, guys, I have no idea. I think it's going to be, you know, there's already risk that comes along with sex, right? I mean, we just now, you might as well take that risk and triple it, quadruple it. Now the risk is, again, it's almost like I can't even put it into words. It blows my mind. I'm just happy I'm married.
Yeah.
Honestly, my subject is, I think right now should be the last thing lines that we should be more focusing on getting to know one another and build a relationship so that later on we have an actual intimate relationship.
What do y'all think about that observation? Yeah. That specifically it should be the last thing on our minds when the LGBTQ community is principally identified in a sexual nature? How do we disregard what principally our community's designation difference is? It's sexual.
I think we got to be honest with ourselves. You know, we're human. You know, and at the end of the day, even though we all know what we should be doing and what would be the best, you know, the most safest way, just like with condoms, you know, I mean, there's going to be people who really just, they weigh the risk against what it is that they want, and they make the decision for themselves on what they want to do. You know, it's going to happen. So if we can come up with ways that we can do that without spreading this infection, then I think that's awesome. I'm just confused about how a glory hole is going to help. Like, if your mouth is involved, then isn't the virus still transmittable regardless?
Actually, interesting. New York City Health Department indicates that COVID does not live in semen. It does not.
But it lives in your mouth.
And it does, but the transmission of COVID is a respiratory transmission. So if when Josie was positive, in close proximity, within 6 feet, it is a respiratory transmission from respiratory lung to respiratory lung. And the New York Health Department is saying a much safer version of that is a glory hole where it is not respiratory to respiratory, and as a result, that is a safer alternative in terms of social isolation. And
so you just gotta Lysol your dick when you pull it out of the hole? Is that how that works?
Well, or sanitize it.
You know, exactly. You hit it. that literally, that is the issue. You are using sanitizer and your hands or whatever body part is being sanitized. It's not respiratory to respiratory, which is how overwhelmingly COVID is passed, which is what the big argument on masks are. Masks are proving 95% effective. Study after study is showing it now. Everybody should be wearing a mask because it is 95% effective in respiratory to respiratory infection. So as a result, glory holes do not spread COVID because presumably when you finished, if you were the recipient in a glory hole, you would sanitize. And as a result, there would be no infection. That's the thinking here.
Just trying to figure out which one counts as the recipient in a glory hole.
Well, yeah, I guess that means there's a sex club on Sunrise.
3, 2, 1.
It's closed.
It's closed.
I was gonna say after this broadcast, they should certainly expect a spike in business.
And it's not going to reopen.
They're going out of business.
They've gone out of business.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm opening a sex club with a glory hole, and you can come
Glory
find
Hole
me
Club.
over in Clearwater.
The club is called Glory Hole, is it? Yes.
Glory Hallelujah.
Yeah. The funny thing on this story is, who would have ever thought that we would hear the New York City Health Department say, you know, glory holes are pretty good. You know, whenever.
Safe sex could look like leather play.
Hey, thanks for giving me some good ideas just in case we have to reclose again.
Yeah.
BMP might have to turn into reinvent itself.
That's funny. All right. All right. Anything else we want to add to this story? We're just going to move on. Is that the kind of
think outside the box here, huh?
Let's move on to some other news stories. A section that we call Saved by the Bell, and I have an imaginary bell that I'm going to be using to be in a situation where we're going to do stories, and we're going to do 60 to 90 seconds on each of these stories that are in the headlines. They're either LGBT. Saved by the Bell is a lightning round of LGBT topics in the news this week or other headlines that we thought were interesting, and we'll give everyone the opportunity to participate. When we're done, we'll move on to the next topic. Everybody knows how this works. And how Saved by the Bell is going to work. It's in there? Yes. All right. So, and I have my bell apparently hidden away here as I take it out. I told you we were live, right? I remind you. And that's what you will hear when we do it. All right, so.
That's contactless delivery.
Yes. It came in a Kleenex box. All right, topic story number 1. NASCAR this week pisses off the racist hillbillies as it bans Confederate flags from all of its races, its venues, and more. What do y'all think?
The first sports story I've cared about all year.
Literally.
You know, I saw a meme that had the flag, the swastika on the flag, and they said, you know, don't try to explain this flag, why this flag is, bad to a Jew. And the same thing goes with the Confederate flag. Guys, it's time to get educated, okay? We cannot continue to casually be racist. And I'm so proud of NASCAR. I mean, they have a huge following, so this is a very powerful message. And for all of the racist NASCAR followers, well, it's a wake-up call, guys. Get your education.
Other thoughts?
Well, I love the fact that people are pissed off by the Confederate flags being banned. Their misery is my delight. So if it pisses off a racist, it makes me happy. I'm all good.
Retweet.
Anybody else? If not, we'll move on.
It's time to let go of the participation trophy, guys, and move on.
One thing that I want to tell you that's interesting on this story, last weekend, Homestead here in South Dade County had one of the first big NASCAR races, and it was invited guests only because they don't have all of the COVID protocols set up, but they broadcast nationally the same race last year versus this year's race. Banning Confederate flags actually piqued interest in NASCAR, and many more people watched the race nationally this year than they did in 2019. I thought that was very interesting.
No longer marketable to be racist.
That's exactly right. Let's move on. Saved by the Bell, story number 2. Did you hear this week? Even in West Virginia, it is possible to elect a transgendered official. Finally, a first for the state of West Virginia.
I'm noting a trend in today that a lot of more transgender are either running in office or doing some sort of political work in making it about coming out or who they are saying, and to educate the straight community the difference between I might be born but I see a woman and transition to myself to being a woman, or the other way around.
Okay. Other thoughts? What happened in West Virginia?
Good for her.
Nope. All right. We're moving on. Story number 3. HBO's competitive game show, reality show, Legendary, serves up loud, proud ballroom culture, all competing at the different houses for $100,000.
Fierce.
What do y'all think?
This has been something that has been talked about, thrown about in Hollywood for quite some time. Let me just let everybody know this. Before this came out, HBO, a casting director for HBO, contacted me about this show, and they asked me to help them cast. They asked me to talk to my house, the House of Infinity, and also they asked me if I could connect them with other houses that would be a part of this. The only reason I said no, was because I asked for a seat at the table. I said, can I judge, or can you break a bitch off a little consultation fee or something? You want me to do all this shit for free? And they was like, they wasn't having it. They want to have, mainstream judges that really aren't even part of the ballroom scene. So I had to decline the offer of assistance. But it's good to see that they're bringing it mainstream and bringing it to the public. So good for them.
For full disclosure on Legendary, they have a house that's all gay. They have a house that is a mixture of gay, lesbian, trans, etc. Varieties of different competitive teams competing. And it's kind of like a live action reality show of Pose. And that's what it's being suggested.
They even have a black house called Ebony with a white mother. And they have an all-cis woman house called the House of Ninja. I watched the first episode only, so I don't know that much. But I will agree with what Power just said. Only one ballroom participant in her history was a judge.
All right, we move on to story number 4 in reporting that the United Nations says enough is enough when it comes to promoting conversion therapy. They call for a worldwide ban of it.
Great. I mean, the fact that it's 2020 and we're having this conversation is what is sad. But hats off to the United Nations, and I hope that we start to see countries fall in line and follow suit, because it's ridiculous that we think that we can send people through therapy to convert them into whatever it is that we want. Those are scientific projects that you're talking about. That's sci-fi, okay? These are human beings we're talking about. What we should be working on is accepting people for who they are.
Hello, Mike Pence. Are you listening?
Also, if you notice, also these are the same people that are watching Star Trek, something that all about diversity in not in reality. They want to go and make us all look like act the same, be the same.
Any other thoughts? Aaron, you said something about starting with our own country. What did you mean there?
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, it's still very legal in most of the United States to put your children through conversion therapy with or without their consent, including, in fact, right here in the county that I live in. And I worked very diligently with a group of activists on banning conversion therapy over in Tampa a few years ago, and we were successful, but then I believe it was last year that was overturned. It was challenged by religious groups and said that we were infringing on their religious rights, and therefore they can, abuse their children, basically. Right.
There we go. And a full half of the states in the United States, it is legal to put your child in conversion therapy. We move into story number 5 this week. Shangela from RuPaul's Drag Race fame, and RuPaul's Drag Race fame, and I think a third RuPaul's Drag Race fame. Mm-hmm. I love Shangela, honestly, I do.
And we're here.
Has started a charity drive to create food credits for out-of-work performers, presumably mostly in the industry and drag industry. What do y'all think about what Shangela is bringing awareness to of all kinds of queens that are out of work and need food?
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. I readily admit that I do not know a lot of the RuPaul Drag Race girls because I don't watch the show, but Shangela is my friend and my sister. So knowing Shangela, how she is, I am not surprised at all. Kudos to her. That girl, she really turns it, and she turns it for her community as well as the industry. So good for her.
Yeah, I believe she is raising $100,000 of $100 food credit for 1,000 performers around the United States.
So, this topic is speaking to my heart and my soul. Obviously, when food is involved, and we're talking about starvation and food disparity and food insecurity. This is something that is across a country where food is in abundance. We're taking 40% of our food and putting it in the garbage. That's what we're doing, and that's the reality. That's the real number. Shangela, you are my girl, and just power, you're going to hook us up because I'm going to help her raise way more money than $100,000.
Yeah, tens across the board. Tens.
Exactly. Our final story tonight that we are reporting on, story number 6, is what happened over the weekend. This past weekend in New York, the largest march for Black trans lives draws more than 40,000 people, the largest trans march of protest event ever in the United States. What did y'all think about what you watched?
I have mixed feelings. I am obviously elated and happy and excited that 40,000 people showed up for us. But also, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and our numbers, we have increased. Yesterday in Florida, 2,500 people tested positive for COVID-19. Are you respecting yourself? Are you protecting yourself? Are you wearing a mask? Are you being safe? Are you trying to socially distance? Thank you. I think it's awesome. Go awesome. I hope that this is a domino effect. However, also, it's kind of scary.
Well,
most of the people that I've seen in the video footage are wearing masks, and transphobia and violence against Black trans women is also a pandemic. So equal energy. Gotta be done.
If the protest march at the Brooklyn Museum was this coming Saturday, you would have the choice of protesting Black Trans Lives Matter in Brooklyn or going to the Trump rally in Tulsa. Choose.
Yes.
Same result. So one is magnificent. And that's our time for Saved by the Bell. Let's play one final game. Let's play our game Shag, Marry, Chop. It's a game that asks our host who and why and what. Does everybody know what we're talking about? All right.
Shag.
So we are going to have 3 different... Right, we're going to have 3 different people tonight, so let's play a Shag, Marry, Chop. Now, as we all know, this is June Pride Month. Actually, maybe we are not remembering because this is the quietest Pride Month that I can ever remember in my entire life. But we continue to celebrate Pride Month. It continues. And we're going to continue with Pride Month with the hottest Hollywood allies to the LGBT community. The A is frequently forgotten, but very important to LGBTQA. And so our hottest Hollywood allies are going to be Chris Evans.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
So hot.
And Dwayne Wade.
Yes.
Yes.
And let's go a little geeky, Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes.
Depending on your choices. Right. Misty, you said yes to everything. So you're going to have some trouble here on what we're going to do. So let's start with our digital interaction. Matthew, let's start with you. Who would you shag?
Oh, wow. Dwayne. I have to go for Dwayne. He looks like he's fun for the reason being that ball player, he just me and wins me over laughter and jumping around and that. Yeah.
All right. And who would you marry?
Oh, I am a sci-fi nerd.
Radcliffe? You want to be a wizard's boy?
Yes, I'm sorry. You know, he is adorable. He just looks like a keeper. Like, I wouldn't have to worry, or that he would be there to take care of me, hug me, love me.
He's fantasizing right now.
Enough, Matthew. Let me tell you why people all over America are tuning you out as the moderator for the new town hall show, because you have just chopped Chris Evans. Are you insane, boy?
The reason is as bored as he is, there's porn. Okay.
There's porn.
Good point, Matthew.
All right,
Good
we
point.
got
I
it.
can respect
All right,
that.
and our other digital participants tonight, Aaron, tell us. Oh, look at that shot of Chris.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Aaron, tell us who you would shag.
All right,
I'm sorry.
so
What's your
I'm
name
gonna-
again? Because I'm not even looking at you. I'm looking over here. Who would you shag?
That's all right. Okay, mine is mutual. I think I would shag. Oh man. Okay, I would say that I would shag Dwayne, but I don't want to have to fight Gabrielle Union. Isn't she his wife?
Yes.
Yes.
She would probably
She
probably
would.
kick my ass.
Yes, she would.
So as much as I would climb that tree, I'm gonna have to marry him. She's gonna have to be the ex-wife. So Shag is gonna go ahead and go over
Same page.
to crap, what was his name?
Chris Evans.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna have to chop Daniel Radcliffe. We kind of like when I had short hair, we looked way too much alike, and that's just I'm not trying to do this thing.
Aaron Phoenix and Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, I can see that. All
But
right.
we could team up on JK Rowling though, so
Yeah, and he did. He came out really hard on her this week. And Power, who do you choose?
Okay, so this one was a hard one for me, but I
No,
know
it
definitely
wasn't. I know exactly who you're going to choose. It was not hard, or maybe it was.
I'm gonna shag Chris Evans. I've always wanted to shag Chris Evans, and so he definitely is gonna get a good shagging from me. I am
A
going
good
to
shagging.
surprisingly enough, I'm gonna marry Daniel Radcliffe.
Ooh.
I'm going to marry Daniel Radcliffe because I've always thought he was hot, and I think that him and I would, we would get along really well.
You also like smart, don't you?
Pardon me?
You also like smart, don't you?
Intellectual.
Yeah, but he has a hot body. He
Yeah.
has a hot body, so I think I can roll with that. And then I'm going to unfortunately have to chop Dwayne Wade also because I have respect for Gabrielle Union, and I'll just live vicariously through Aaron and Matthew's marriage to him So
I'm surprised Daniel's not doing better. I saw him on Broadway in Equus.
Yeah, he was great.
And in the scene, he was completely naked and super respectable. Super respectable. Okay, and Chef Josie, let's go to you. Oh, there's that shot of Chris again. Man.
All right, so just so you guys know, when I was with boys, I did like him a little meatheady like. So Chris Evans, come on, of course we're shagging, just because, hello, okay? Then I'm gonna marry Dwayne Wade. Athletic, Gabrielle Union, supports his trans kid. I'm totally in, okay? Not only that, we could go on about Dwayne Wade. Oh, Miami, okay, all right. And I love Daniel Radcliffe, but honey, I don't think we have any chemistry, you know what I'm saying? We'll be friends though.
Yeah, all right. And Misty, you're last but not least.
That's okay. I'm definitely 100% shagging the house down Chris Evans.
Shagging the house down.
Yes. Dwayne, husband. Oh my gosh, the house down. And no matter what, he would love our kids. And that's very impressive. And hopefully I could be friends with his ex because I also love Gabrielle. And sorry, Daniel. Deuces.
It's funny, as I was watching this and listening to all of you, I told you about Daniel Radcliffe. I'm an uber Harry Potter fan. I have the full robes. I have the full everything.
He's all yours, Al.
Right. And of course, Chris Evans is absolutely spectacular. But it's interesting to me about Dwayne Wade because as I watch this and listen to y'all, Miami is nice. But damn if he doesn't get all the sexier in terms of what he has done with his child.
Yeah.
And how as an African American sports star stand up for his trans child is just been magical. And he becomes all the sexier because of it, which is interesting. It washes over me in a different way. So that's our game, Shag, Marry, Chop. We play it every week. We're at the end of our show, and we want to remind you we're all here getting ready to celebrate. We have pizza here from Jet's Pizza, our sponsor partner, and it's fantastic. It's Detroit-style pizza. If you come into South Florida, you want to be sure and get it because it is fantastic. And we are going to finish, and we're going to say goodnight. And before we say goodnight and the show ends, we're going to give all of our hosts an opportunity to say goodnight. And Matthew, again, we're sorry we've had this problem with your digital sound connection, but a short, brief good night from you because of the intermittent, but your opportunity.
Well, I just want you all thank you so much. Great opportunity. And, I think technical problems I think Donald trying to keep me from going ahead and too much.
Okay. All right. And Power, we'll come to you.
Well, good night, children, once again. Just remember that as we traverse these very, very troubled times, conversations like these are what really builds progress. So keep it right here, and it's happening out every single week.
And to my friend Aaron Phoenix.
Good night, gender fuckers, and all of you still trying to figure us out. Remember to keep hope alive and keep pushing. There's a reason that we keep fighting, and it's not just because everything is so terrible. It's because there's better things to look forward to.
Excellent. And to my friend Misty Eyes, partner at Q News Tonight.
Thank you guys very much for watching, America. We definitely appreciate you, and respect yourself, protect yourself, and if you're going through something, reach out. You are not alone.
And to my friend Chef Josie.
Tonight I say goodnight to love. I know you're out there and the world needs you. So wherever you are, fill some hearts this evening. Fill the world with you. We need to fill this world back up with love. Our love tanks are empty at the moment and we need it. And you guys who are watching, please stay tuned each week while we continue to have these important conversations. You're at the table and you matter. So good night.
America, I know for LGBT America, these times are really hard. And the proof of that is in the reopening that is taking place in Florida and Texas and Arizona, even in California. and other places. New Jersey this weekend, coming weekends, really principally starts to reopen. We are pouring into reopening, and that's why the numbers are skyrocketing. We're seeing Memorial Weekend right now. 4th of July weekend is coming. Our numbers are skyrocketing. It's only going to get worse. We're going to make decisions of acceptance, and those are the decisions that we're coming to. So that's unfortunate, but that's what's happening in the world, and it's an indication of how much you need to get out and be free. But the one thing that I would remind you of, that is also an indication that our mental health is so critically important. Josie talks about suicide tonight. We all, every one of us connected with It's Happening Out, know people that have been significantly harmed in one way or another. Mental health is really critical. It's the next after the actual physical effects of COVID-19, the economic effects of COVID-19, our mental effects are coming next, and that wave has not washed over us yet in the way it should. So try to keep that in your forefront. Your mental health is very, very important. And we'll continue to do that. It's Happening Out and talking about it in every possible way. We're here every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Q News tonight, every weekday at 7 o'clock. And this new program that is going to open conversation in dramatic new ways comes July 2nd of Gay Town Hall. We hope you'll join us for that new program. Revolutionary idea. And so remember, America, LGBT America, it is Pride Month. We all need to remember how much pride we have in our community. And in that spirit, remember, if it's important to you, it's important at It's Happening Out. Good night, America.